Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today I'm playing some best of one in standard. That's right, I haven't forgotten about all of you best of one enjoyers, even though I have made a big old switch myself over to best of three for the most part. I do occasionally dip my toe into the best of one queue just to see how things are going. And this list is in fact a best of one list that popped up over on the Discord this week that got me kind of excited to try out the format one more time. This is a biotech specialist list, and we're going to talk a little bit about this one and of course jump into some gameplay. But as usual, I have to ask for your support. If you don't mind, sub up to the channel and of course leave a comment down below. Let me know your opinions of best of one versus best of three. I know some people have mentioned that they've been trying best of three here and there and having a much better experience, but I know there are people out there that absolutely hate it. So do let me know down in the comments what you think about it. Now, like I said, this is a biotech specialist list that popped up over on the Discord, and I've only played 5 games with it, but amazingly, we're 5-0 with it. So we know we're going to run into some of the other end in this video. But right now, the early build of the deck is looking pretty good. When I got the list on Discord, I did make 2 changes to the list. One of them being Legion Extruder and the other one being Sentinel of the Nameless City. But I kind of expect this list to go through a couple of different iterations because I know there are still some slight issues with it, but I wanted to do an early video with it to give my early impressions on the list because I think this might be one that I can end up coming back to quite often over the next month or two with some updates to the list. So what's going on with this list? Well, we are a biotech specialist list first and foremost. Biotech specialist is a 1/3 for Gruul mana, and it is an insect scientist that says when this creature enters, create a lander token. Lander tokens we can sacrifice to go get a basic land. Then whenever you sacrifice an artifact, this creature deals 2 damage to target opponent. That is the key phrase on here. So we are looking to create a whole bunch of disposable artifacts that we can sacrifice and keep doming the opponent for 2 repeatedly. I mentioned before, Mutagen Man, Living Ooze is in the deck. This card is becoming one of my favorite cards in Standard. This thing is just an absolute beast. Just as on the surface, it's a 2/3 for 2 mana with Trample. That's awesome by itself. And then it has a wicked passive ability. Activated abilities of artifact tokens you control cost 1 less to activate. So our mutagens cost 0. Our map tokens cost 0. The lander token that the biotech specialist creates will cost 1. Mutagen Man is just a monster. And then if you can dump a whole bunch of mana into it, you can create a whole bunch of mutagens and of course go off with that. The other card from TMNT that is in the deck is Michelangelo. This is going to work really well with other mutagens. This guy creates a mutagen token when he enters and then gives an extra +1/+1 counter whenever a +1/+1 counter is put onto a creature. We have some other synergies with the mutagen stuff. We are playing a couple of oozes since we are putting +1/+1 counters on our creatures. If those creatures end up dying, the ooze is going to create mutagen tokens equal to the number of +1/+1 counters that were on that creature. And then of course it is incidental graveyard hate because we can exile a card from a graveyard to create a mutagen token every turn. Just a fantastic card. Then of course, while we got our Badger Mole Cub with our Llanowar Elf, because we do want to accelerate things a little bit, we have our Gold Vein Hydra, which is maybe one of the harder crafts in the deck for people who are looking at this list, but this thing has really impressed me. You can dump a whole bunch of mana into it. It comes in with +1/+1 counters, so that kind of works with the ooze right here. It also works with Michelangelo. And then the Gold Vein Hydra, when it dies, it creates tapped treasure tokens. So if we are able to get this thing dead on our opponent's turn, on our turn, if we have a biotech specialist and let's say 8 treasures, that might be 16 damage to the face if we just go ahead and crack all of those treasures. It happened in some of those early games. Legion Extruder was the card that I added to the list. It wasn't in the original list, but this thing does 2 kinds of things. It does give us a slight amount of interaction. The deck is not playing any interaction at all, but this does 2 damage to any target, so that's great. And then it also lets us sacrifice artifacts if we need to. Sentinel in the Nameless City was also not in the original list, but I think this is just a solid 3 CMC creature. It's a 3/4 with Vigilance. That's great. And then it creates map tokens. Hey, what don't you like about this creature? It's just fantastic. And then the last card that ties it all together is Nature's Rhythm. This thing allows us to go and find our biotech specialist in a pinch where we need to get it onto the field so that we can end the game. Maybe we have a whole bunch of mutagens or treasures on the field, but we don't have any way of dealing damage to the opponent. Well, we go and fetch a biotech specialist and end the game. Lands, pretty standard stuff. Stomping Ground, Thornspire Verge, and our Multiversal Passage, and no sideboard because it is best of one, as I mentioned before. That is the plan. We're going to hop into some games and hopefully continue this hot run that this deck has been on because it's been performing pretty well. See you over in the games. Biotech Specialist, finally playing a deck with this awesome card. Hey, it showed up right there, boom, right in the center of the screen. Opening hand, it looks okay. We'll try it out. I really wish I had a 1CMC card, or of course Badger Mole Cup. Badger Mole Cup ties the room. It really ties the room together, you know. It makes everything look great. We are possibly against artifacts, or more likely, ooh, I don't know what that means. Really don't know what that means. So from here, we could just go out with the Llanowar Elf and start our ramp situation. We could also run out one of these two, but they did leave up a 1CMC, potential for a 1CMC thing, and that kind of screams maybe Spell Snare to me. I don't, man, the Ooze is actually a little bit important in this matchup. You know what, I'm going to go out with the Llanowar Elf. I'm a little bit afraid of a Spell Snare. Maybe I shouldn't be, because it's ridiculous to think that maybe somebody in Best of One is playing Spell Snare. They are on Artifacts. So Artifacts, a little bit sketch for me because of the possibility of them eating all of our stuff. Don't like that. I don't think the Legion Extruder is going to get a whole lot of value, but I'm going to go out with the Nameless City. I think create treasure map tokens. From here, I think I probably just swing in. I want to get the Biotech Specialist on the field before I crack the map token. If they end up having the Starfield Pinnacle, that's what it's called? Pinnacle Starfield? It's been such a long time since I played Best of One that I'm actually forgetting what the name is called, which maybe is a good thing. That would eat the Ooze. That would also eat my Llanowar Elf and my Biotech Specialist. But if I ended up running out the Biotech Specialist this turn, I can go, at the very least, I can hit the opponent for a couple of things with these map tokens and the lander tokens. So I think that's what our plan is. Probably I should have cracked the map onto the Nameless City there. That's okay. Yeah, should have done it at least one. It's fine. It's fine. If this is a land, I don't get punished. It's punished. Fully punished. I think what I'm gonna do is crack the lander in response to them maybe doing a pinnacle. Hopefully they, okay, that's bad. Maybe they go and take a turn to go get their big boy, their artifact creating boy, instead of a man, what is it called? So they do get the synthesizer. Okay. I prefer them get the synthesizer because we can actually do quite a bit of damage to the opponent. Okay. Crack this. If we hit, no, we know what we're hitting. We're hitting the Michelangelo. Oh, no, we're not. We're getting rid of the Michelangelo. Oh, no. No, 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 no. It's a disaster. Okay, from here, of course, we're just going to throw the land down. And I suppose we probably should have kept the Michelangelo on the top. Now, I'm definitely cracking under the pressure here. Nature's Rhythm. It does a lot for the deck. I guess we'll keep it. And you know what? I'm going to throw the Legion Extruder onto the field just to hit the opponent for 2 more damage. If I put out the Ooze, I can also get them for 2 more. So this would be 6 damage, 7, 8, 9. No, I have to keep that back. 8. It's not enough damage. Although I am also hitting them with the map token here. So yeah, I think this is fine. I'll just use the Legion Extruder to get rid of this map. I should have swung with the Llanowar Elf. I wasn't not thinking. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. I'm too worried about what the opponent's going to end up doing to us. But if they end up just taking a turn to make a whole bunch of things, they might just die here. They need to kill our Biotech Specialist right now. They don't. If you would create 1 or more artifact tokens, they're being greedy. They're going full on create a wall of things. But I don't really care about this because I'm pretty sure I can just kill them next turn. They have 1 mana open to them, but it kind of looks like that's all they have open to them. And I'm not going to give them another. Oh, this created maps, and maps we don't care about. Okay, station we don't care about. They pass it over to us? Okay. There's no reason not to create a 3/3 golem here. 2 damage up top. We have our... yeah, we just have the damage, right? We eat this thing. This is one of the things I absolutely love about this deck is that it just does it. You always can just find the damage. Okay, hot dogs. That's a cool thing that the hot dogs over there was doing with the World Waker helm. Not something you really see the artifacts doing too much, but biotech specialists, you can't leave it on the field. And that's maybe one of the reasons I've had success with this deck is because people definitely underestimate what the biotech specialist can do. Because I've definitely had opponents that have had very high life totals, and you hit a Mutagen Man and you're able to dump a whole bunch of mana into it, and it's just, the game's just over if you have a biotech specialist on the field. This thing is insane. Cool. Okay, good early performance from the deck. There were some, well, the gameplay wasn't as optimal as I would have liked it to have been, but that's fine. Early morning woes, and I'll continue to excuse my gameplay on other things, whatever. Hey, we have the ideal kind of situation where we have a Badger Mole Cup into another 2-drop. I think we kind of go that way. However, the opponent is on black, so they might be saying no to that. Ooh, skeletons, you say? That's maybe fine. So, Badger Mole Cub onto the field, and I don't see any reason why, against an opponent that's playing a Skeletons deck, I wouldn't just run out the Michelangelo. They definitely have interaction. They probably have nowhere to run, for example. But let's just hope we can get the... Oh, Shelter by Ghost. Okay. Oh, I'd rather them eat my... Well, I don't know. Which one do I prefer them to eat there? Hello. Hi. You're cute. I guess... we just run out a Mutagen Man X2? Or is it the Biotech Specialist this turn and then Mutagen Man X... No. We'll go this way. Mutagen Man onto the field. It's fine. And I guess I could... I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to be greedy like my last opponent, and I'm going to hope that they don't have any kind of interaction so that I can squeeze the maximum amount of damage out of this Biotech Specialist. It's not a... Whoa, double Shelter by Ghost. Okay, well, ouch. That hurts. That hurts so much. Look who's back. Okay, Biotech Specialist onto the field. That means we get to at least make it so that I think we probably make it so that they can't really attack in with the skeleton here, I guess. It does have menace. That's something to be aware of. So I think from here, probably I just pass the turn. Next turn, we can go Lana War Elf. Oh no. Making it a 5/1 is kind of... Okay, well, that's fine. So from here, I'm definitely going to be running out the Mutagen Man. Here comes the Mutagen Man. Mutagen Man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I do it for X3 or X4? I think I kind of want to do it for X3. Keep the Thorn Spire Verge available as a double blocker. And I'm gonna crack one more Mutagen token onto Michelangelo, so that if I have to double block, I can block 7/7 and the 1/1 on the scary skeleton. They might have another Corpse of the Lost, but then it'll only be a 6/1. I just don't want to lose Mikey. And the idea here is that I kind of need the Mutagen Man's trample to be able to... Oh, man, how do they always have it? Double Shelter by Ghost into the Seam Rip. Brutal. So now, do I still double block with Mutagen Man and the Thorn Spire Verge? No. And I don't do that either. So we need another Mikey, I guess, now. Still, the Mutagen Man's going to be pretty good. That's not great. Wow, hot running from the opponent. You got to appreciate what they got going on over there. So if I put the stuff on the Mutagen Man, I can't really attack in very comfortably with that card. Maybe I'm just going to start attacking in with this Thorn Spire Verge. Okay. Oh, okay. I guess things have kind of changed now. The opponent knows I have a Mutagen Man on the top of the library though, so they might not be too incentivized to block this thing, but I think I have to go for it. And I don't want to crack the lander token because the lander token is going to shuffle away my library. So as long as we survive this turn, I think probably we are okay. They got to swing big. I don't care about optimistic scavengers coming in. It's the it's that thing that they have to send in, but I don't think they really want to send it in. Why? Are they doing that to kill something so that they get the corpse of the lost? Maybe, but I don't care, right? So we got 4, 5, 6, 7. We do it for X6 though. No, X4. 1, 2, 4. Keep 1 mana for the lander token. And this just equals lethal damage. Right? There it is again. You cannot stop the biotech specialist. The biotech specialist out of control. Sneaking damage in on the opponent. We get the GG from the opponent. Good on ya. Woo. It's always nice. Mutagen Man is such a top deck. It's definitely won me a good number of games. Oh man, what a tough position from the opponent. They had lots of removal with the Shelter by Ghost and the Seam Rip, but both decks running hot, and Biotech Specialist just a little bit better. Can't keep getting away with this, right? Just picking off the opponent when the opponent has us. The opponents have both basically had us dead on board, and we just end up finding that last little bit of power there with a cheeky top deck. And yeah, we'll see if our luck continues. Okay, so this is probably we know what this is, right? This is landfall, so that means we want to use the Legion Extruder next turn to be able to snipe something. So I think I'm just gonna go out with a Mikey and set up to hit a Badger Mole Cub. We would love to see like a Llanowar Elf off the top of the library. It would probably be one of the best draws for us. I'm gonna say I'm getting a little bit tired of landfall. I still like the deck, and I actually would like to play the landfall deck because I think Earthbender Ascension is such a cool card. But at the same time, I'm kind of tired of how many triggers that deck just constantly has, trigger after trigger after trigger, and I feel very triggered when I go up against it. We have our Badger Mole Cub, and now we have to make a choice. Do we take out their growing Shaz's Chocobo, or do we take out their mana source? And I actually don't know. I think it's probably pretty even here. You hate leaving this on the field, but at the same time, this Shaz's Chocobo could get out of control very quickly. I've been killed by too many Shaz's Chocobos in the past. What is the right choice here? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to know what you would choose in this case. I'm gonna go with the Llanowar Elf. I think the age-old Bolt the Bird expression is just a little bit too ingrained in my mind, and I think that is probably the right choice. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Next turn, I have to imagine what we're going to be doing is, so that was probably the right play. I think we're going to run out a Mutagen Man for X2 or X3, depending on our land draw. We'll just go X2. I think it's fine to go Muti in this case. And then next turn, we can't do double Biotech Specialists, but what we can do is at least one of them, and then start doing quite a bit of work against the opponent with these Biotech Specialists. If we can get both of them on the field before we start cracking things, doubling up the damage, you love that, right? Mossborn Hydra. Would have loved to have hit the Mossborn Hydra. Hey, by the way, did you know that this is an elemental Hydra? I learned that when I played a Sunderflock the other day, and the giant Mossborn Hydra that ended up destroying my face on the following turn didn't disappear from the board on the previous turn with my Sunderflock hit the board. We might be in trouble now because this Mossborn Hydra is definitely going to be a 4/4, potentially 8/8 or 16/16, depending on what kind of lands they have as follow-ups. And if they end up having the creature that can play stuff from the graveyard, we're going to be in extra big trouble. What do I want to see out the top? Maybe a red source actually wouldn't be the worst thing. Do they get frisky with the Shaz's Chocobo? I also wouldn't hate that. It's not what I want to see, but it's honestly, it's not the worst draw, because at the very least, we get to now put something on the field with our 2 extra mana. We can load up the Mutagen Man, or do I load up something that I want to die? Maybe it's the Michelangelo. Maybe, man, all of these targets are all kind of good. I don't know what I want to be murdering with the ooze on the field. Okay, Mutagen Man, I think it is. Let's just put a little bit of damage and have, I just want to have like a beefier blocker on the field. It's probably actually the Badger Mole Cub. I'm gonna split it up a little bit. That way, if I have to get something to die, ooh, I still have the ooze here. I think it's worth it to eat this now, just in case something ends up dying next turn. So let's have a couple of blockers. And I think if we can make it to the next turn, we might be okay. The problem is a Mossborn Hydra kind of represents instant death in a lot of cases. But it's going to be very awkward for them if we end up attacking in with the Badger Mole Cub and the Mutagen Man. If they end up having to block it with a giant Hydra, they have no choice but to let it die from the ooze. There's some weird angles here. And then we have the follow-up Biotech Specialist, so we might be doming the opponent for... See, there's a 16 damage that I was talking about earlier. At least it's not 32 or 64. I guess if they had the other guy, it would be 64 because they could double it 4 times. Okay, it's fine. I can deal with 16 damage. I can deal very well with 16 damage. I'm fine putting the Badger Mole Cub in front of a very big Mossborn Hydra so that it dies. We get 4 mutagen tokens, and that's a lot of lands that the opponent just drew. They could still make the 4 CMC guy. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's the annoying thing that lets them play the cards from the graveyard, lands from the graveyard, and get a double land drop each turn. If they do that, then our Mossborn Hydra, their Mossborn Hydra goes up to 64 and we die. But I think that's the only card that gets them out of this situation because, yeah, okay, good. And they don't have the mana for it anymore. So they just load up the field with a bunch of irrelevant 1/1 chump blockers, and we have the Biotech Specialist waiting in our hand as well to hit the field and absolutely destroy our opponent. Do they swing in with the Mossborn Hydra? Oh ho ho, please swing in with the Mossborn Hydra. You will get a Badger Mole Cub so quickly. Do it. Do it. Good. It makes things so much easier, actually. So I was probably right in my thinking originally that I should have put more stuff on the Badger Mole Cub. I was kind of thinking, like, do I want to attack in on that last turn? And that's why I put the stuff on the Mutagen Man, because he has Trample. But it probably should have been just loading up the Badger Mole Cub, because that was the creature that I was willing to sacrifice. Now they have 1 mana, and what are they gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna rope me is what they're gonna do. I'm gonna get roped here. Oh, come on. I guess they do have to discard down. They did draw a ton of cards. Terra Symbiosis, pretty cool card. Whenever you put a +1/+1 or 1 or more counters on a creature you control, you may draw that many cards. Do this only once each turn. So they ended up, when did they do that? Was it a 4/4? I can't remember when they put that out, but I guess it was when they, probably when they drew 8, when they put 8 counters on it. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Everything is over. Second Biotech Specialist. We have enough damage to basically kill them from full life. Let's start with the Lander token. That's 4. The writing's on the wall, opponent. Are you gonna let me do all the triggers, or are you just gonna scoop it up Uh, probably should have been a different thing. That definitely should have been a red source just for safety. But does it really matter? Mutagen Man, this part is so insane. Activated abilities of artifacts you control cost 1 less to activate. I'm enjoying it, but I cannot deny that it's not such a ridiculous thing. It should, for like balance sake, to live in a better world where things are a little bit slower, that should probably say the first activated ability of an artifact I think if they did it that way, it could be good. The first activated ability of an artifact you control costs 1 less to activate each turn. Maybe that would be a more, but like this thing just does so much. It's a 2/3 for 2 with trample, already premium, basically premium stat lines. I don't know, 2026, maybe that's not really premium, but it's still very good at that baseline. And then it has the X, which is just gravy. If you have mana to dump into it, dump the mana into it. But no, we're gonna make every single mutagen that this creature creates free. What an insane design. Insane. Game number 4, we were climbing up the ladder. I was actually sliding down. I was like around 90 at one point. Hey, we get to see the Gold Vein Hydra for the first time. But yeah, my rank was definitely sliding down. I've been experimenting with a lot of questionable decks since I hit Mythic. Of course, that's what I like to do. I like to start playing some funky stuff. And, but yeah, climbing back up as soon as you find a deck that you jive with, that feels good, things are good. I was going to say, I kind of wanted them to play out like a Llanowar Elf there so I could smoke it with the Legion Extruder, but I think we'll just ease up for a turn, see what the opponent's up to, and probably just jam this Sentinel of the Nameless City. They are on Izzet. They could have counter magic. I would love a Sentinel to hit the field, but they have a get out. Get out. Kind of looks like he's getting in, though. Maybe the spirits are getting out? I don't like that art. I disagree with the naming. As a quick side note. What does this mean? The opponent just passing it back to me. I don't like that. Michelangelo, to the field. I'd rather the Gold Vein Hydra land and be a threat to them. So, does this mean it's a good idea to use the mutagen token on the Michelangelo to get it up to a 3 CMC stat line, or 3 toughness stat line? Or is it okay to leave it as a 1? What I'm kind of thinking is they probably have burst lightnings. I'm going to try to save my Michelangelo. They might have the burst lightning. If they have it, they have it. You know, that's just the way it goes. All right. Unfortunate. They did design the mutagen tokens a little bit more carefully. Activate only as a sorcery. It would be nice if we could do that at instant speed, but it is what I got to deal with. Okay, from here, I feel like they're just going to continue to react. I would really love to jam a Gold Vein Hydra as a 4/4, because if it dies, it gives me a whole bunch of tokens. The Mutagen Man is also not a bad thing to slam on the field, but I think we're going to go with old Hydra face here. Notably, only a Hydra, not an elemental Hydra. And they're going to opt to try to find another get out. Oh, please don't be a get out. Oh, okay, it lands. So at least it's on the field, and that way, if they do kill it, at the very least, we get our 4 tokens. They have the Edimer Crab, though, to tap it down, and makes it a little bit hard to attack in. But if I end up putting the Mutagen Man onto the field, then we have some mutagens that we can possibly crack to make it a little bit bigger. We also have the Nature's Rhythm to be able to go and grab potentially the Specialist and start attacking the face. But hey, if you just draw the Specialist, that's not the worst situation. Let's attack in with the Gold Vein Hydra. See what they do, how they react. Another Eddie Merc Crab. Kind of bad news. So from here, it's probably Mutagen Man X3. And what we have to do is hope we don't die on the following turn, but I think we're actually kind of in a bad position. The opponent had the right early game spells to slow us down enough, and then double Edimer Crab is kind of a big problem. However, oh man, I finally met my match, and it's a Sunderflock, and it does bounce my Hydra because it's, like I said, it's not an elemental Hydra. All right, we finally drop a game. This is the first one. We ended up going 8-0 with this deck before we ran into somebody that was running hot, and I don't think there's a single thing I can do. GG opponent. We scoop it up, and we take, the deck takes its first loss. But you know what? Going 8-0 is not too bad. This deck has a lot of power behind it. We're going to keep on rolling. Michelangelo's happy with it. That's, man, this face is creepy. There's something really unsettling about these glossy veneers. All right, hopefully we're on the play for game number 5. We always want to be on the play, right? These days, I think more and more people are pointing it out. When you're on the play, boy, oh boy, does it give you a big ol' advantage. Opening hand looks fine. We have our Goldvein Hydra one more time. You know what? Goldvein Hydra didn't exactly perform in the last game, so maybe this is not the sauce that ties this deck together. Maybe you don't need to craft a Goldvein Hydra if you're playing this deck. I would love to throw out the Badger Molka, but I think taking the opportunity to smoke a Llanowar Elf with a Legion Extruder is probably the best thing you can be doing. And then next turn we can go Badger Molka into Michelangelo. Don't hate that. They are on Simic. They have a Gene Pollinator and another Llanowar Elf. What's the follow-up? They shocked in the breeding pool, so there must be something else. Mockingbird. Okay. Well, no matter what, oh, well, I guess I do got to make the choice, right? Do I want to hit a Gene Pollinator with the Legion Extruder? And I kind of think I do. That way, it keeps them a little bit off of the mana. Because they do need some permanent to tap down with the Gene Pollinator. So at most they can have 3 plus 1 mana this turn. Hopefully that just makes the running a little bit awkward for them. They have a breeding pool that they're not putting out untapped. What does that mean? Quantum Riddler. Okay, so they're just taking a turn. They could still have 1 CMC play here with the Gene Pollinator tapping down the Riddler, but it looks like they don't. And we now have 5 mana. So I guess when you have 5 mana, you probably just go X4 on a Hydra and swing in with both of these. Take them down to probably 12. I don't think they block with the Gene Pollinator. From here, probably, well, there could be an argument to put out Michelangelo plus Mutagen Man on the following turn. I think it's probably just slamming Mutagen Man for maximum power. Fun card. I've been building EDH decks. One of the decks that I built is the Armament Coral, the Final Fantasy IX red-haired dude. I can't remember his first name, but his second name is Coral. And the Leyline Weaver was one of the cards that I wanted to pick up for that list. In my area, sold out. The real card, I can't remember what it's called, but whatever. Yeah, completely sold out. Blew my mind. Okay, let's put this out on red. We'll pay the 2 mana, and I think probably we just jam this for X4, and we build up for a pretty good turn. I think we will do a little bit of extra damage here. Yeah, and we'll wait for a pretty good turn next turn. But yeah, I can't remember what it's called, like Spider Manifestation or something like that. All sold out in my area, so I couldn't even get my hands on a common Spider-Man card. Kind of surprising. Next turn, Ouroboride. You know what? That's a pretty good card. They have 2 mana still available to them, but I don't think I really care about the Ouroboride. We should be able to go over it with the Michelangelo and these Mutagens, depending on what we draw too. If we drew a Biotech Specialist, we'd be really happy. Oh, all right. Well, we just go out with Mikey, and we put so much pressure on the opponent. Load up a Goldvein Hydra, make it basically impossible for the opponent to mitigate all the damage that's coming in. I don't think they're going to have a way of interacting with us, and we go back on the winning train. We lost one, but hey, back up. Let's go. Game number 6. How many games am I going to go? Am I only going to go 7? I know when I was doing the best of 1 a couple of weeks ago, we were kind of running upwards of 10 games for a lot of the matches, but I think we'll see how quickly some of these go. Some of them have been dragging a little bit. My videos have been climbing up in duration. I think I've been hitting 1 hour with a lot of my videos. Do let me know if that is something you've noticed, something that you think is getting a little bit too much. I would like a little bit of feedback on that note. Ooh, spells. Do you have the spell snare? Ooh, spell snare in best of 1. We were talking about it in game number 1, and look at that. Should have known with the blue sleeves here that the opponent hiding a spell snare behind a starting town. Cheeky. And they don't have... Man, that sucks. Do I really want to run out the Mutagen Man? I think I don't, but I think I will. If we run into another spell snare, I'll know that this deck has been running a little bit too hot, and Mad Wolf here has been sent by... What is it? The, who's that mercenary group that gets sent after people? Oh, I'm completely forgetting the name of it now, and that sucks. Oh man, we're in big trouble. I can use this Nature's Rhythm at some point to go and get something, but I think we're gonna be toast. Oh, what are they called? They're from like Red Dead Redemption 2. You know what? You let me know. You know what I'm talking about. They're gonna send that mercenary group after me. They're gonna come hunting. They're gonna look for me. From here, you know what? Let's try a Nature's Rhythm X3. I'm gonna do this to go and grab my map making creature. That way I have some artifacts that are on the field for this Legion Extruder that I can sacrifice and start maybe getting 3/3s on the field. That's the idea. So we'll grab a Sentinel of the Nameless City for 3 mana. It at the very least makes 1 map token if it can survive this turn and get another attack in. That would be pretty swell if I could have 2 maps on the field for the Legion Extruder to eventually eat. Okay, the opponent did have another spell snare, so I really am being targeted. Wizards has sent the gangsters after me to make sure to shut down this biotech specialist deck. They're hunting your boy. A seer? How can the removal line up so perfectly against us, right? You have to ask yourself, how is it possible? If they have another spell snare, I might just alt F4 out of this. All right, Mad Wolf packing all of the interaction. What a cool dude over there. What a cool graveyard. These, I get it. Yeah, you want to play control, but my God, is it? It's just lame in my books. If I had a tier list of S, you know, S tier, A tier, lame tier. Okay, the opponent suddenly has just won me back a little bit. Northwind Avatar. When this creature enters, if you cast it, you may put a card you own from outside the game into your hand. Okay. I can now get behind what they're doing. This is kind of cool. What's not cool is playing Ancient Cornucopia with a whole bunch of not multicolor cards, right? This is whenever you cast a card that's one or more colors. This says 1 or more colors, not 2 or more colors. So if you just don't play a colorless spell, you gain a life. GG opponent. We ran into a whole bunch of lands and a whole bunch of interaction for our fun stuff. Not a whole lot you're gonna do against old Mad Wolf there, sent by the... I'm gonna find out between games here. The Pinkertons. I figured it out. The Pinkertons. Hopefully you left a comment. Let me know though beforehand. Yeah, I think Mad Wolf was an operative of the Pinkertons sent to attack your boy here. I'm a victim. Let's see if we can make Kradberg a victim. That's fine. What are we gonna put? Let's put a Goldvein Hydra, I guess, in exile. So probably it's okay to use the Legion Extruder to hit the Lightstall Inquisitor. And then next turn, at the very least, we go out with the Sentinel of the Nameless City, and we have a 3/4 Vigilance creature to start attacking in with. A Wonderweave Aerialist would have been pretty good to hit with a Legion Extruder eventually, but I think if they have a Sheltered by Ghost here, we might be cooked. They definitely have it. I don't think there has ever been. Oh, hey, Dimensional Exile. That's cool, and that's such a cool art on it. Actually, I like that one a lot. Okay, all right, all right. I don't like what's happening here, but I'll accept it. I've definitely very notable to say that since we haven't had our man, the Gold Vein Hydras are so bad in this matchup actually, because they're gonna exile us. They're not gonna kill our stuff. They're gonna exile our stuff. Very notable. We haven't been hitting our Legion Specialist in these last few sets of games, and it has made the situation a lot harder. They have the Spellbook Vendor, not a Sheltered by Ghost. They have a Lightstall Inquisitor. Nature's Rhythm, I guess, exile. You know what? The Lightstall Inquisitors are actually doing some work here against me. Sentinel of the Nameless City being a 4/5 could end up being pretty good. Interesting that they didn't put the thing on the Wonderweave Aerialist. That means they probably have a... What is it called? Somebody help me. They have the 1 CMC flash thing for their creature. So we can't really attack in because of that. Because the Wonderweave Aerialist is essentially a 5/5. Legion Extruder, probably not good enough. I'm going to put it away. Now I can attack with the 5/6. I think I'm okay with that. What am I saying? They tap down. It's fine. It's fine. You can be silly. You can be silly. We're going to use probably the map token to crack to the Legion Extruder. I'd rather have a 3/3 Golem on the field than another 1/1 counter on my potentially 1/1 counter on the Sentinel of the Nameless City. It would fix the top of my deck also potentially, but we'll see. That's now a 6/6. Oh no, I would have been wrong because I forgot about the Ethereal Armor. It would have been a 6/6. So if it were untapped, it would have murdered me. Next turn, we are dead unless we get rid of the Wonderweave Aerialist, which we cannot do. I think we're just dead in this game. Obviously, one of the downsides of this deck is the lack of interaction that's in the deck. That was pointed out earlier. So if you run into an opponent who's doing this kind of stuff, you're going to have a bad time. I think we can go X5. I'm just going through the motions. We're dead in the air. We don't have any reach. We may as well attack in with the full brunt of things, but we get taken out by Kradberg, another Pinkerton operative, most certainly. This deck definitely seemed a little bit less targeted than the other one. The other deck just felt fully tuned to beat me. All right, opponent GG. We lose to a Wonderweave Aerialist in the air. We'll let the opponent swing out. That is 7 games in the book. I think I'm going to play one more because I'm not... I don't know. Maybe we leave it on a Wonderweave Aerialist death. I haven't seen this card since switching to best of 3. You do not run into Wonderweave Aerialist. I can tell you that. What am I thinking? Back to 18. Not happy ending on a loss. We're gonna run it back one more. We're either gonna go 50%, 4-4, or we're gonna get a nice win here. Opening hand looks fine because we can run out a quick Nameless Sentinel. Nameless Sentinel, sure. Now known as Nameless Sentinel. Okay, so Llanowar Elf. Hopefully it sticks on the field. We greet our opponent to make them feel like they should treat us properly. You know, we're friendly over here. Oh, one quick little thing. What's this? I unlocked the Donatello Wizards. This is some lame effort here. All they did was color swapped obviously the colors on the turtles, and they gave it a bow staff instead of the swords from Donatello or from Leonardo. I'm getting my turtles mixed up here. That's a little bit lame. You could have done something a little bit more to make it more interesting, right? I'm gonna run out both of these. We're up against a Jeskai control list. They have spells that are doing 3 damage. They could also have Get Lost, which would suck. And then they're gonna have a board wipe on turn 4. They have the Get Lost. That's fine. They take out that one. But now we do have 4, 5. I think probably because I have 5, I'm going to crack one of them. I want the biotech specialist on the field, but I think probably getting rid of that Llanowar elf is worth it to just shape the top of our deck. 1 mana, lose 2 damage. It's fine. Okay, the opponent has 3 mana. They stock up. So we have a turn where we are allowed to do whatever we really want, but we have to be aware that we're probably going to be getting board wiped on the following turn. So if I end up running out the biotech specialist, it is, you know, it is kind of a risk. It is representing 8 damage. It could also represent 12 damage, which would be, but I can't do everything. I can't do all of that stuff. I think it's probably fine to do it. Pay the life here. Let's see just how much damage I can do to the opponent. Not a land on the top, please. Michelangelo. We're going to leave it on the top just to get the +1/+1 counters onto the Sentinel of the Nameless City. The opponent scoops it up. They don't have the board wipe, maybe. They don't have the board wipe plus the land. And they know that too much damage is coming in. All right. So it's fine. We end up winning against the Jeskai control list for a nice little final win in game number 8. We'll go to a wrap-up. All right. So this Gruul biotech specialist list ends up going 10 and 3. 77% win rate. Look at that. On the draw, we get 100% win rate. That's a unique statistic, right? On the play, 67, but hey, this deck comes up big from behind, apparently. There's something working with this list, and I think most of that is in this area right here. A couple of things that I'm kind of noticing that can maybe be changed for future situations or for future games. Gold Vein Hydra, cool card. When it works really well, but in this set of games, it didn't really work out. So I think going the full 4 of might be a bit ambitious. We might want to go down to 2, and that might give us a little bit more access to some other better tools in the 3 slot, because we are very vulnerable in the 2 slot. If we end up running into the Pinnacles or Black Sun, Day of the Black Sun is a really big problem for us. If we do have an opponent that has spell snares, for example, they are apparently out there, could be an issue. I also thought Nature's Rhythm, maybe not the best thing for the deck. Obviously, it's very good because we can go and guarantee to get our biotech specialist, but we don't always have that burst of mana that we need to dump into the Nature's Rhythm. So I think also maybe just trimming here, maybe going like 2 Gold Vein Hydras, 2 Nature's Rhythm could be better. And then maybe I didn't want to play the Ouroboride in this list, but let's be perfectly honest. If you just jammed Ouroboride into this list, it's just a better list, probably. But I think we could probably avoid the Ouroboride and lean a little bit more into some other artifact synergies. Maybe explore what a Jund list might look like. Suddenly, if we go Jund, we have access to a very good finisher. If I can type with one hand here, Sneck, not that Sneck, this Sneck, Rotten Mouth Viper, it suddenly becomes available to us. If we have a whole bunch of artifacts on the field with a biotech specialist, we could go, biotech specialist for 2 mana, then sacrifice basically everything and just pay 1 mana for the Rotten Mouth Viper. This comes in, is probably going to end the game. So I'm really curious what a Jund list would actually end up looking like. And I think at some point I'm going to be messing around with that. Everything over here, though, very impressive. Love Legion Extruder. I think in pinches, having the ability to start sacrificing your creatures to make 3/3 golems, always going to be good. It didn't really come up too much, but I think it's probably a good asset to have. And honestly, the 2 damage did come in. So we do need a little bit of interaction. Also, maybe cutting some stuff for interaction could be important. Ooze, huge card. I think it's just good. We didn't really see it too much, but I always want to have a little bit of artifact hate. Honestly, I wouldn't hate going up to 3 oozes in this list, especially in best of 1 where Kavaro, although absent from this set of games, is around, right? We could end up running into it here and there. So there's a lot of cool stuff for the list. I think there's a lot of areas for improvement, but right now it is running. It does work, and it does feel kind of fun to play. So there is a lot of benefit in that part of the deck. Anyways, let me know what you think about this biotech specialist list. Let me know what you think about best of 1 versus best of 3. And hey, that is a wrap. I hope you all have a great week. Enjoy your time, enjoy your weekends, whatever you're doing. I'll see you in the next video. Sarang ipana. Bye-bye.